Welcome, everyone, to this powerful episode where we explore the miraculous power of prayer. From biblical times to modern-day testimonies, prayer has been a channel through which God intervenes in human lives in incredible ways. Whether you're seeking strength, healing, or divine guidance, today's stories will inspire you and strengthen your faith. Before we dive into the stories, let's take a moment to define what prayer truly is. Prayer is a conversation with God. It's more than just a ritual. It's an intimate way to connect with our Creator, expressing gratitude, seeking guidance, and presenting our deepest needs. Throughout the Bible, we see the incredible results of prayer. From Daniel in the lion's den to the Apostle Peter being freed from prison, God's intervention through prayer is undeniable. Our first story comes from someone who experienced the miraculous power of prayer firsthand. Meet Sarah. I was diagnosed with a severe illness and the doctors said there was little hope. But my church community came together in prayer. I remember feeling this overwhelming peace wash over me. And within weeks I was completely healed, even my doctors couldn't explain it. I know that it was God who healed me through the prayers of my loved ones. Prayer isn't just about asking for things, it's about trusting that God hears us, even in our darkest times. The Bible is filled with stories that show the power of prayer. One of the most striking examples is the story of Elijah, who prayed for rain after a long drought. Elijah's faith was unwavering. He prayed 7 times before the first raindrop fell, showing us that persistence in prayer matters. This teaches us that God's timing is perfect, even when answers don't come immediately. Our next story comes from David, who found himself in a life-threatening situation where only divine intervention could save him. I was driving home one night and a storm hit. The rain was so heavy I couldn't see anything. I started to lose control of my car on a steep curve. In that moment, I just cried out, "God, please help me." My car swerved, but then it straightened out, almost as if someone else had taken the wheel. I know it was God who saved me that night. The power of a simple prayer, even in a moment of desperation, is incredible. David's story reminds us of when Jesus calmed the storm with just a few words. "Peace, be still." When the disciples were terrified, they turned to Jesus in prayer, and he answered immediately. Prayer doesn't always change the situation, but it changes us. It gives us peace in the storm, reminding us that God is in control. Our final story comes from a family who experienced God's provision during a time of financial hardship. We were struggling to make ends meet. Bills were piling up, and we didn't know how we would make it through the next month. But one night, we prayed together as a family, asking God for provision. The very next day, we received a check in the mail that covered exactly what we needed. It was from an old insurance policy we had forgotten about. It felt like God's way of reminding us that He is our provider. These stories of healing, protection, and provision show the miraculous power of prayer. But it's important to remember that prayer is not just about getting what we ask for. It's about developing a deeper relationship with God, trusting Him in all circumstances, and aligning our will with His. Sometimes God's answer is yes. Sometimes it's wait. And other times it's I have something better for you. But one thing is certain. Prayer changes things, and more importantly, it changes us. You may be wondering, how can I experience the power of prayer in my own life? Here are a few tips. 1. Pray with faith. Believe that God hears you and has the power to intervene. 2. Pray with persistence. Like Elijah, don't give up when the answer doesn't come right away. Pray with gratitude. Thank God for what He's done, and trust in what He will do. Pray with a heart surrendered to God's will. Remember, prayer is not just about changing your circumstances, but also about changing your heart. If you're going through a difficult time, I want to encourage you to bring it to God in prayer. No matter how big or small the need, God is listening. He is always ready to move in miraculous ways. Thank you for joining us today. If these stories encouraged you, please share your own stories of how God has intervened in your life through prayer. Let's continue to lift one another up in faith. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. James 5:16. Until next time, stay blessed and keep praying. Share, like, and subscribe for more uplifting Bible verses and spiritual guidance.